You know you've been doing this for too damn long, and you start noticing weird things like this one. Welcome home, Red Pack Marcus here, and welcome to Comfort Cartoons, this show where I collect absolutely everything from the late 90s, 2000s, all the way to the modern day, and I'm also trying to create the world's biggest SpongeBob and Nickelodeon collection. And the owner of this channel is definitely not somebody you want to bring into a library. I mean, she's not loud, but it's just, she can't read. I know, the education system these days. But anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. And if you guys are, you know the drill. Nickelodeon Library Flip. I love books. It's about to get a whole lot brighter, Red Pack, because your boy is here. And today is going to be so much fun because we are going to be doing our first renovation here in the cavern for 2023. I told you guys we're going to be doing so many awesome changes in here. But on that list of many things, today we're going to be building a brand new library. And I shouldn't be calling it a library because I've called the Nickelodeon Library a library for quite some time. But it's not actually a library. I found a video online from a guy named Jack in the Books. And in his video, he talks about how if you want to have an official library, you need to have at least 1,000 books or more. So that got me to thinking. So right over here is our bookshelf, and right now you can see it is completely filled. This is not looking good. So we are actually gonna have to build a new bookshelf today, but not just that, we are gonna be counting all of those books. You guys put your predictions in the comments down below right now. How many books do you guys think we have in the collection currently? But if we don't have 1,000 books, at least we'll know how far we are away. And on our journeys, as always, we'll continue to add them whenever we find new ones. You might have noticed I've been in the same spot for this intro. That's because I'm standing amongst a bunch of painted panels. I just gotta say, man, that is a beautiful color. We had to paint these panels of same color as our bookshelf over here and all the other shelves, just so it stays consistent and it matches the wall and the beautiful Nickelodeon sign, because it's going to be going right under here. We're going to be extending the bookshelf, moving this guy, extending the bookshelves this way. We have two brand new ones, so we have plenty of room. And I gotta be really careful because I'm serious, like these are just painted. But we are gonna sit down, we're gonna count all these books, but not just that. These books have been on our hunt, so we have some that are great condition and some that need some work. As of right now, I've just been accumulating, but today we are gonna clean all those books, add them into the collection, count them, and see if we have an official library. And I'm gonna show you the definitive way I found the best way to clean books, because it took me a long time and a lot of research to really find the best way. But I gotta get out of this spot. In hindsight, I probably could have stood in many other places, like there or there. I mean, honestly, even there. There's not a lot of options in here. We got a lot of stuff. I picked this spot mostly so I could say painted panels. Sorry, ADHD. I'll sit down and we'll get into this. Also, one more thing. Cosmo, Wanda, help me clean this place up, please. Okay, thank you guys so much. Smash the like button for Cosmo and Wanda. We appreciate that. That was bothering me quite a lot. Okay, so let's get all of the books out before we start counting them. We used to have these in there to actually be as spacers because we didn't have enough books, but now we have so many books that these guys don't even have a space. These are just journals. They won't count towards our book total, so we'll move these guys to the side. Let's go ahead and get all of our books out. And I'm not gonna lie, I love the Christmas vibe, but it is nice to see the collection back to its normal state. And I can't wait to do the upgrades we're gonna be doing in here this year. You know we're gonna spend some special time on these. We still aren't done with the Nick Zone collection, but we definitely have to spend extra time on making these things as crisp as possible. Alright, so we got all the books out. You guys can see there's dust everywhere inside of this. It's definitely needed. We're gonna clean this up along with adding our new bookshelves. But first, let's get these all onto the table. Okay, I don't know if it's 1,000 books, but it's definitely a lot of books. So let's count them all out. I'm gonna check out and highlight some of my favorites in this collection. You guys know how much I love the Nickelodeon books, and especially some of the SpongeBob ones. So we're gonna highlight some of my favorite ones there that I've never gotten to check out, but we're gonna clean them, of course, too. And in doing the research for this video, I have to say it was hard to find like a comprehensive, simple, easy method of how to clean books, and not just books, DVDs, games, any of those things. So I decided to make an official, simplistic list of the things you'll need to make these type of cleans, or at least the clean I'm doing right here. There's gonna be a lot of different recommendations out there of different things you could use. If you need a video of what you could use to clean your collection, here's the list that I made using stuff that you can find at the dollar store. First up, alcohol, or anything that has a lot of alcohol in it. It could be hand sanitizer, nail polish remover. You want at least 70% alcohol, but if you can find something higher, that is better. But I got all this stuff at the dollar store. That way we could do it on a budget, and I can show you guys how to do it as well with stuff that you could find in your area. Next up, you'll need a spray bottle to spray the alcohol, and that way it disperses evenly rather than just pouring it on. Next up, you'll need a scraper to help scrape off the stickers. I got these again at Dollar Tree, and they had 3 different sizes for really big stickers, I guess. But they have a small one that's way better for smaller items like this, and they're all rounded on the edges, so you shouldn't have to worry about scratching too much. Next up, you'll need shop towels. The shop towels are going to help with wiping it down and getting all the gunk off. I recommend going with something with a little bit more grit, so I'm going to use to help wipe it down a little bit more thoroughly, but microfiber also would be softer. Then these erasers are going to help with any of that rubbery gunk that kind of sticks to your fingers. Like I said, the main thing we're going to be aiming for here is texture and making sure they feel clean. Secondly, making sure they look clean. So these will be perfect for that. And then last, you just want any type of tire or car gloss. I mean, something that's not going to damage the plastic, of course. Again, I got this at the Dollar Tree. It's for your tires to make them a little shiny, a little glossy. So that way we can get back its original new look, give it a nice little shine, since it is going to be getting cleaned and it's been through a few years of use. Okay, so we're going to go through all these books, but the one that I want to start for the little tester here for our first cleaning, I want to use the Ultimate Rugrats fan book. We've got 2 big stickers on it. We got a Toys R Us one, and we've got a thrift store sticker on there, along with the cover just kind of being a little bit dingy. Tommy's head always be a little dingy, but definitely dingier. So we have the Rugrats fan book right here. We're gonna do our first spray here and just see if we can get this basic dirt off right here in the front. I'm just gonna use this one for the example, and then after this, we're gonna turn this into overdrive and get all of these books done. Let's start with the general gunk here, just so I don't see how that works, and then we'll go for those stickers. Oh my god, I'm not gonna lie, that is so satisfying. It is literally like Snow White under all that buildup. Absolutely beautiful. It warms my childhood heart to see my man Tommy so much cleaner. Let's get his face up there. Oh my god, it's literally like we're taking out the years. It's like a makeup. It's unbelievable. The colors, everything pops. Ryan will have the before and the after right here. As you guys can see, the cover looks basically brand new. It is so nice looking comparatively, and it feels, the texture is so much better on the hand. Now we're gonna go for these stickers, and if you want to, you can use a blow dryer to heat them up, but I think I'm gonna go for them just the way they are. I think it should be fine, especially since we have a few different options to get the gunk off. It seriously warms my heart so much being able to see this book kind of be brought back to life. I mean, the more of these things, these little stickers, these little damages that would have added up, would have been more of a plausibility of the next person that gets this just throwing it out. But since we can keep it in good shape, we can reuse it, recycle it, and also have future generations to enjoy it. And also, anybody that comes in the cavern and grabs it, it'll feel as close to brand new to the experience that you would have had in 1998 when you picked up the book. But we're gonna be doing that with all of these books now, and that's gonna take some time. So make sure you guys smash the like button. We're gonna make this Nickelodeon library happen, but not just that, we are gonna be counting to see if we get close to that full library status, so I can start calling it a library and it actually being true. And I think we have our first one right here. So Ryan, add to the counter, book number 1. And book number 1, of course, is the Ultimate Rugrats Fan Guide. You guys saw me clean it, of course, but inside this book is an episode guide, show trivia, and not just that, there's breakdowns for all the characters, along with a bunch of information about the actors that actually play them and the creators of the shows themselves. The book was actually written by a friend and fan of the Rugrats, but it was licensed by Nickelodeon, and I'm sure that friendship helped with that. But it's a very unique book that you wouldn't see all the time, so I'm really glad to add this one as our first technical book to the library. Okay, so now we're gonna do all the books. It was all fun and dandy cleaning little bald Tommy's head, but cleaning the bulk of these books is gonna take some time, so we're gonna get started with it. And as I clean a book, Ryan's gonna add it onto our counter right here. And then not just that, if there's a book I really want to take some time to look at and go into further, we'll do that along the way. Let's go ahead and get cleaning and counting these books. Also, a lot of the books are brand new already, so I might just wipe them down one time to make sure we get the general dust. But when I do that, it means the book is not really that dirty in the first place. Okay, Blue's Clues Searching for Shapes, counted. Opposites of Blue, counted. SpongeBob Happy Sea Happy Day, counted. All 3 of these are already clean and good to go. Let's keep it moving. Okay, so I'm just getting into it. I'm already getting distracted. There's this one about a snail in Bikini Bottom that is considered bad luck because it's a black snail. And we've had this one on the channel, but I never took a chance to really look at it. The snail's name is Blackie, which isn't the nicest of names, but I want to look into this book and see if it's Gary or if it's unrelated. Let's dive into this one a little bit closer. Okay, so Bad Luck Day was a storybook reader, so it would have had a cartridge like this. It looks on screen. I have a couple of the cartridges in the collection, but I don't have the play later, and I also don't have bad luck day. So first off, it starts off with SpongeBob and Patrick spotting this weird, like, rainbow-colored seashell that's on the floor. SpongeBob warns Patrick not to pick up the shell because it's bad luck, but of course, Patrick does it anyway, only to get trampled by a bunch of the Bikini Bottom residents. So Patrick says that he's having a bad luck day all day long and tells SpongeBob how he was doing all these unlucky things throughout the day, like opening up a clamshell umbrella. So then they decide they're just trying to remove everything from Patrick's house as bad lucky, including those shell umbrellas. Then they spot one black snail outside of Conch Street, so they decide to paint it looking like SpongeBob. But then apparently another one showed up, which we've never even seen one as far as I can remember in the show. And then after 2 hours of painting, they did paint them all, but a lot of people were missing their snails, including one that was named Blackie. But pretty much after this, Patrick and SpongeBob kind of ignore all the people with their missing snails, and SpongeBob tries to find something that's good luck for Patrick by bringing him a 4-leaf seaweed and a sand crab foot. But of course, SpongeBob not being able to get the crab foot alone, he brought the actual crab. And of course, the sand crab ends up pinching Patrick, and he is of course allergic to it. So SpongeBob decides he's gonna make a wish in order to get rid of Patrick's bad luck by wishing on a shooting star. But since they're in the ocean and they can't see stars, no, not sea stars, but sea stars, SpongeBob decides he's gonna use a clam launcher to shoot Patrick into the air, making him the shooting star. And I feel like this entire book and this entire story was based off of them trying to deliver that single joke of Patrick being a shooting star, and I kind of love it. And ultimately, Patrick lands, he feels better, and then immediately after that, SpongeBob lands on him, making him feel a lot worse again, and also making Patrick convinced that he still has bad luck. And SpongeBob admits that he didn't even wish for Patrick to actually feel better. He only wished that he could fly and have as much fun as Patrick because he saw how much fun Patrick was having flying through the air. So that's pretty much it for the SpongeBob Good Luck Day. But the illustrations look straight out of the show, and I swear there's so many more memes probably in the SpongeBob book universe than there actually is in the show universe, but not as many people know about them, so they kind of stay hidden within these pages. This one is the never-ending stay, where you actually get to see SpongeBob's other cousin. No, I'm not talking Stanley. We have another cousin that actually looks also like SpongeBob. I mean, we've had some SpongeBob extended families. Ryan's gonna put them on screen here, but I love the never-ending stay right here. We get to see one of SpongeBob's random cousins. Okay, this next book is very awesome because we have Squidward doing the thing, but just reverse-eyed. But not just that. In this book in particular, SpongeBob actually ends up breaking Squidward's clarinet. He replaces it, which we've seen SpongeBob do many of times with getting Squidward a new clarinet.
Looks like a clarinet.
But which is really, really cool is you actually get to see at the end of the book here, Squidward does a performance for Bikini Bottom, which is kind of like cool because that's kind of very similar to the reference that they put in Minecraft where you got to go see Squidward perform on stage. All these SpongeBob books take some of the episodes and kind of like make them a little bit more simple so that way kids can understand them, but they're awesome pieces and seriously so many amazing stories, and they add so many characters that you never get to see in the actual show. Like including this one right here, Seaworthy Songs. I just cleaned this one off, and that actually has the musical notes inside for SpongeBob. So right here we have the notes to play the SpongeBob theme song. Like that is so cool to be able to archive and have in the collection, to be able to have access to all the different main songs like Home in the Sea and other awesome SpongeBob songs. But with all these SpongeBob books, we're surely gonna find more, but we just added all 4 of these ones right here along with our bad luck SpongeBob. Brings us up to 9. I could be wrong on the counter, but Ryan's gonna keep our counter right here on the side of the screen the entire time, so that way we know exactly where we're at. But we added a lot of Sponge books. Blue's Idea, added. So this one is a French container and actually contains 10 books, so we're able to add 10 on this guy right here. Okay, so we're adding a bunch of the kids' books. We have the phonics reading program books. We're adding all these ones. This one's awesome though. We have a zoo of balloons, a very interesting concept. Let's dive into this one real quick. I have some questions that need to be answered. Okay, and the zoo of balloons is a pretty simple book. Half of one side of the book is illustrations and the other half is actual dialogue between the characters. So SpongeBob and Patrick go to the zoo, and for some reason Patrick, even though he's a grown man, continues to beg SpongeBob for a balloon. SpongeBob shells out a couple of his few dollars that he gets from Mr. Krabs to get Patrick a balloon. And Patrick gets the shark balloon, as you guys can see right here, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, soon Patrick wants even more balloons, and he just gets more and more of them, of different sea animals, which again, I can't describe how disgusting that is and the concept of the world they live in. But there was too many balloons, so Patrick ended up flowing off into the air. And then a apparent spine fish that happened to be on the location was there. So SpongeBob was able to borrow some of his spines and shoot them through a a straw that he had. But the balloons popped and they landed Patrick in the sea lions pool. Again, very strange that these are sea lions that are, I guess, not on the intelligence level of SpongeBob and Patrick, but it gives you an example of how the books kind of, you know, take their own liberties to change some things in order to make a story smooth for kids. But we're adding all 5 of these books to the collection as well, keeping it moving. We're just going stack by stack. This right here is all my sticker residue and stuff that I really rather not ever see again once we're done with this video. That is the bane of my existence right there. But we're going stack by stack here. Let's keep it moving through this stack. Okay, this one's debatable. There's words in here. There's names. I'm counting this. Counting this. The next book I had to stop on, and that is Trouble at the Krusty Krab, because this is the iconic moment in the SpongeBob SquarePants film where he arrives on spot of the serious case of no cheese on a customer's burger at the Krusty Krab. But it kind of gives you a little bit more detailed look at the situation and also what kind of happened after. What is up with the books putting in these random fish that have nothing to do with SpongeBob? Like, that doesn't make sense. They're fish, so he would look like the rest of them. The books, if they were canon, definitely help with the Bikini Atoll theory that all the fish in Bikini Bottom are actually mutated from nuclear radiation, because the books have a lot of non-existing fish floating around in them. And some of the things that can help you know the books aren't canon is for right here. We have Patrick's driver's license right here inside the book. Ryan will put a picture of Patrick's license from the show. He does not live on Seafloor Lane. I don't even think that's, I mean, it's just a reference of like the seafloor. I get it, but we all know Patrick lives on Conch Street. So with little details like that wrong in the books, I feel like some of the things are a little bit harder to call canon. Oh yes, and we found another example of the SpongeBob movie books where actually they go in depth on some of the scenes from the movie. So here are the guys that have a couple rules about blowing bubbles.
All bubble-blowing babies will be beaten senseless by
which was adapted by David Lumen right here. And David Lumen, I'd say like half the books on here I feel like David Lumen wrote. He does an amazing job of adapting things from the film or the show into the books, and he did an amazing job here as well. And I feel like he's one of the goats we have to put on there, the people that I feel like almost could decide SpongeBob canon. But it really gives you so much more detail about the Thug Tug. You get to see inside of the restaurant, bar, pool house, whatever that place is, whatever dangerous hole in the wall restaurant that is. And as a fan of the SpongeBob movie, you always wish you could find out more, and I didn't even know I had the books right here in my own room to check out and learn a little more. Oh, this one is a really cool one. I love the cover of this one so much. Got a reference right there of Patrick literally going through all the evidence with a fine-tooth comb. They are looking for Sandy and to find out where she has disappeared to by following these different acorn top pieces, because apparently squirrels don't eat the tops of acorns. Who would have known that until you literally saw this book? So that's kind of cool. But my favorite thing, and we're gonna read a little segment from this book, and that is this right here, where they go looking for Sandy on the Dutchman ship. And now that I really think about it, I don't feel like we've ever seen an interaction between Sandy and the Dutchman. If so, Ryan will put it on screen. It's just one of those characters where you're like, wow, it's almost like they're from two different shows where they just never interact with each other. But I have a feeling they don't find anything that's gonna help them find Sandy with the Dutchman. Okay, the next one we have to add just strictly for the fact of look at how adorable Phil and Lil look like as double Bs. Oh my god, and Tommy as a Reptar is the best thing I've ever seen. And Angelica, I think you're playing for the wrong team in your costume, but let's go ahead and check this book out. Okay, so this one's about to get a little bit dark. I'm sure many of you guys that are Nickelodeon fans are aware of the Angelica creepypasta, or the Rugrats creepypasta, which describes a theory that Angelica is actually crazy, essentially, and that all the babies are in her imagination. And I'm not gonna dive too deep into it, but in this book, it basically starts with Angelica and the kids getting a bunch of candy from a Halloween party that they all just attended. And presumably the adults are gonna start getting dressed for the Halloween, but Angelica explains to them that there's spirits within the house. But she tells tells them if they give her their candy, she'll keep the spirits from haunting them. So of course the babies don't immediately believe it, but she tells them, hey, give me your candy and I'll tell the scary ghost to go away. And at that point, all the babies decided to give all of their candy to Angelica to just make it go away. They think that the spirits should have gone away, and they see a big shadow looming over them, which turns out just to be Tommy's dad, dressed up in his costume being a vampire. As soon as they thought things were calm, the lights go out, only to flicker right back on with Grandpa Lou running down the stairs with a sheet on his head. But it was actually just the laundry that got tangled on Grandpa Lou's head because of the power outage. Then they travel to the living room to make sure everything's clear, and without a single break, they begin to hear evil laughing coming from the basement, which ends up being just a spooky sound effect that Stu installed into the basement. So after that last reveal of that also being a hoax, Tommy explains to the rest of the gang that he thinks that the spirits of Halloween aren't there anymore, and Tommy demands that he gets his and also the rest of the babies' candy back. And then later that night, the babies take a bath and they enjoy all the candy that they ate. We're definitely jumping into the Rugrats Go to Las Vegas. Absolutely. That is not a place for babies. But whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Let's hope they brought Kimmy.
You guys have fun. Ta-ta.
Nah, that was a bad taste. I like Kimmy. I just thought that would be a edgy joke and it wasn't worth it. We love you, Kimmy. The Great Escape, SpongeBob SquarePants added. Garfield the Magician. We were the magicians on this one and we made the dust disappear. Garfield pulls his weight, which I don't even think is possible, added. Avatar The Last Airbender, The Search, added. Victoria Justice, Shine On, added. Lazy Town Pixels Real Test, added. The Sharing Surprise, added. I couldn't get this ink off the top right there off for some reason, but other than that, added. I'm not even gonna attempt, added. Garfield at Large, we've got right here, cleaned him up. Older book, but we got it cleaned and added in the collection. Count and Save with Blue. I wish Blue was my accountant. It'd be a lot more friendly than the old lady that looks like Roz. It helps me now.
You didn't file your paperwork last night.
Okay, I cleaned all the books on the right side. Now we're doing the left side, which might be actually a little harder because we have some of these big books. But we'll definitely be going into these books, taking a look at them, the ones we haven't already. But this is a good shot for you guys to see every book we have in the collection, so that way we can keep adding from here. This book right here, the SpongeBob Look and Find, is one of my favorites because growing up, these are probably the only books that I would actually read because it didn't have any words. It was just finding images. So I'm going to have Ryan put some good shots in there of this actual book. There's so many awesome pieces and so many little Easter eggs amongst every single picture. So we'll definitely have to highlight a few of those. We got a few live action books in the collection too, like for example, this iCarly book, I Prank Lubert, which I mean, let's be honest, realistically, Lubert needed to be pranked.
More people!
And the Spencer prank episode was the best episode of iCarly ever. And fun fact, Lubert actually is married to, I think I want to say Nora, the psycho fan that abducted them in the episode. SpongeBob Lost in Time at a Medieval Adventure. SpongeBob Hands Off. Atlantis SquarePantis in book form. Dora Goes to the Doctor. SpongeBob Slapshots. SpongeBob to the Rescue. Blue Skidoos to the Barn! I said Parn, I'm sorry. Diego's Animal Rescue Adventure, added. SpongeBob Scavenger Hunt, added. So a huge section of books, unfortunately, we have to count out because these don't have like readability to them. They're just coloring books. So we're gonna put these to the side. I love all these activity books. Ryan's got a shot of all the different activity books we've collected so far, but unfortunately, we do have to put this one to the side. Blue's #1 Picnic added. So we're continuing on to the left side of the room here, and we have so many different SpongeBob books here. It seems like this is mostly the SpongeBob collection. So what that tells me is we have a lot of other style books to collect along this way. When we get to the Nick zones, I know there's a variety there, but I think the rest of this is gonna be a lot of SpongeBob, but I'm totally okay with that. Just got done cleaning this section. I feel like we should take a look at some of the multiple live action shows that they made for Nickelodeon books. So we've got Alex Mack we're adding, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Zoe 101, and Drake and Josh. But like I said, let's see how they turn live action into a novel. In some of these books, you will see that the animated characters, illustrated characters definitely probably translate a little better in the books. Okay, and for the Nickelodeon live action books, I wanted to take a look at them because it is an interesting way how they actually transform them into a novel form. So in the Drake and Josh books, they keep the general script of the show, but for the cutaway gags of Drake and Josh responding to each other on screen, and they use these Facebook style-esque profile pictures to guide you through which character is saying which I think is a really cool way to make the show and the book feel very similar without just taking it straight from the show. The Zoe 101 books are a lot less imaginative, where they just pretty much is exactly from the script and only including a poster inside to kind of help you understand what the characters may look like. The iCarly books are probably the most lazy, being that they are straight images stripped from the TV show. If they were going to use images from the show, I would have much rather have seen it in a comic book fashion or just straight up seen illustrations of the characters. It would have been a lot of fun. But overall, to me, the book shows a little bit of lack of effort compared to some of the other books. And being that iCarly is absolutely amazing, I would have loved to have seen a better set of books come out for the series. The Rugrats movie, the novel, has been cleaned and added. The white looks way better now. Okay, so I didn't read many of the level 2 books that we saw along this way, but that's because I knew we had this book right here, and that is the best Bikini Bottom stories ever, which has a bunch of those level 2 reading books collected all into one big book. I'll get you guys some better shots of this one, and we'll go over some of the awesome stories that are inside of this collection book. Okay, so for the SpongeBob novels, they all hold a very, very big place in my heart, just because these books are all the ones that I personally read as a kid. By the time I got super invested in SpongeBob, I was right at the prime age where I had to start reading for school as well, and we were gearing our way out of picture books. And I love the SpongeBob novels because the majority of them was actual text and chapters, but did have just enough imagery and pictures in them for it to be fun for me. Just being able to see SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, all the characters that I loved would instantly put a smile on my face and make the school day go by a little bit faster. So I always felt like when I was going through the pictures, it was always like I was reading just for the next surprise. And because of the fact that there was very little pictures in it, most of the time my teachers would give it a pass as my reading book for my books in the early times of like 2nd and 3rd grade. These right here are some of my favorite. We're gonna be adding all of these guys I just got done cleaning. These are the SpongeBob novels. Multiple are these chapter novels that are based off of an individual episode, but most of these are the ones that I, and most likely you, ended up growing up with, and actually might remember some of these covers. These are definitely some of the most mass-produced, but also some of the best, and because they weren't so loaded with pictures, even a lot of school libraries would carry some of these. And these are by far some of my favorites to collect outside the Nick Zone books. Let's go ahead and take a look at all of these little SpongeBob novels, including one for the SpongeBob movie, and one for the SpongeBob the second movie. I'm sure there's one for the first movie, and we need that. And the older the book is, the harder it is to get them off. So it's so important that if you guys have books in your collection, you get them off early, and not just that, you don't put them on your new books, because you guys can see this one right here literally has the sticker permanently engraved into our Garfield Golden book here. I can try to get it out, and as you can see, I'm actually ripping the cover there. So this one's a little too far gone, but that's why it's important to get these stickers off while they're as fresh as they can be. Some of these stickers are literally from the 90s and I was able to get them off. Others, not so much. This one would have probably been a little bit further back, so eventually that adhesive does bond with the actual fabric and even the actual protective layer on the book. Okay, we got all of our little golden books here. Many of you guys said to make a whole section dedicated to the golden books, but the thing is that there's not enough of them yet to do that. But we've got the TMNT one. We got SpongeBob Sponge in Space, which is an awesome one because we've gotten this made in a novel form before with some pictures like these. But this time we actually got that same episode made with a way better illustration. So much fun. And of course the little golden book, so it's nostalgic for almost every generation at this point. We got to keep those together. We've got Welcome to Camp Coral. We got Shimmer Shine Dragon Pox. Team Umizoomi Find the Dinosaurs. And we have Paw Patrol Mighty Pup Power. So we added all of those guys. Garfield's favorites A to Z. You know you've been doing this for too damn long, cleaning books, when you start noticing weird things like this one. Like, man, they put a lot of room on the back for the summary they didn't use. Could have blown that up a bit. But they also probably thought that nobody was going to sit here and clean probably 200 Nickelodeon books to find these details. Okay, so let's add a bunch in here. We've got the Dawn of Yinxing. I didn't even need to add this one. Ryan will put the book slip on screen right now. The book is absolutely gorgeous. The only thing that could have made this better is if they would have given like the Bible gold pages on the borders. That would have been even cooler, but an amazing book. So glad to add this one to the collection. Sponge at Heart, one of the coolest books in this collection. Gotta add it. Of course, was classy, doing the thing, Squidward. SpongeBob Comics number 1 and number 3. We're still on the lookout for number 2. And this has a collection of all of the first couple comics here and then all of the last comics here. And in the middle would of course be those comics down the middle. But they are like the episodes of SpongeBob where you can read them individually and all the stories still work. Bark Spike Bark added. SpongeBob Happy Campers in the collection. Special delivery to the collection. Dora Sleepover added. Hoedown Showdown added. Hoedown Showdown in Spanish added. SpongeBob Easter Parade added. Blue's Clues part of the Big Green Help Initiative added. SpongeBob Good Enough to Eat added. And this is another version of a book that gives us another look at a different way to read it. We've got in 3D, we've got in pop-up, we've got in music, we've got all these different things, but let's add sound, all the different food products in this book. You can scratch it and it actually smells like that item. And it still kind of smells like it, but for some reason, because the book is old and it's like, was at the thrift store, the fact that it smells like pizza to me kind of makes me want to throw up. So I'm gonna keep the book closed. But an awesome one nonetheless. Alright, so now for my favorite books, the Nick Zone books. Let's go ahead and go through these guys and get them nice and clean. Okay, last but for sure not least, we have the Nick Zone books. And this is by far my favorite iteration of all of the Nickelodeon books to ever be released. From the beautiful, vibrant hardcovers, the original Nick Zone book logo, the awesome splat that covers the edge of the book, all the way down to the beautiful illustrations throughout every single page. In the Nick Zone books, there's an entire set of over 20 books. We're trying to collect all of them on the channel right now. There's no for sure information as to whether they were all released as one set or individual copies that were released throughout time. I've heard from some people that they were released in a box set, but I've heard from others that they found them as individual books other places. But on the road of trying to collect them all, I have discovered and decided they are my favorite books, being that they have those hardcovers and have survived so long and in such great shapes. But not just that, they have such amazing stories throughout them, such as Best in Show, SpongeBob, The Everglades Escapades, Llama Drama, and Angelica for President. And as you guys can see, some of my selections of some of my favorites from the stories. It also had a huge variety of different Nick programs on at the time, and being that my peak SpongeBob fandom and even Nick fandom was probably 2008 to 2012, these books fall right in that category and also cover some of my favorite shows that were released at that time. So let's go and add it. We cleaned and added Token Wishes, Jimmy Neutron, Zine Scene, The Science Project, SpongeBob Movie Pants, Angelica for President, What's Cooking SpongeBob, Fearless, Sky Scare, Llama Drama, Everglades Escapades, and Once Upon a Time SpongeBob, Best in Show, and Ding Dong, giving us a total of 13 books from the Nick Zone collection. This is the last book we're covering in this video, but will not be the last books I cover on this channel. Make sure you're subscribed and stay tuned for me to collect and find all of these final Nick Zone books. But I'm so proud and glad that we got to count all these books together, clean them off, and finish it on Nick Zone books being my favorite. favorite. Can't wait to see what other books we find on our journeys, and I can't wait to add all of these to the bookshelf. Okay guys, so now we are finally adding the books. It's a few days later, trying to organize everything, clean everything. This video has taken some time, and you guys know the total of books on screen right now. I just counted them. We are still a long way from a library, but I know one day we are gonna make it there, especially with your guys' help. But it's good to know that every single book is now sanitized and cleaned to go into the collection, and now when we get new books, we can clean and sanitize those as they go into the collection, which is gonna be so much easier than doing the bulk of it like we just did now. But the further along we would have gone in the collection, it would have even been more difficult. So I'm so glad that we got it done while it was still manageable. Let's go ahead and put all these into the collection. I'll show you where they're all sectioned out, and I'll also give you the grand total. Okay, so this whole section right here is all SpongeBob related books. It takes up a majority of the collection, which makes sense. I left some of these ring guys in there, and then back in here we have the French variation of the book. There's 12 books in there, so we can't count that to our total. So we have that in there, but let's go ahead and lift up all these, and now all of the SpongeBob ones are into the collection, and it is filling it up perfectly. And this compartment over here is right now where the card binders are gonna go, but if I ever get more SpongeBob books, I'm just gonna go this direction and move the card binders, because I do want to keep them sectioned off just for right now, but eventually we're gonna have to probably mix them together because they will bleed into each other. But as we expand the book collection, well, I'm talking when we get in the 500s, 600s, then we could probably reorganize them again. But for right now, SpongeBob is together. So now we're into the Nickelodeon books right here. We got a couple over here that I put for the backboard so I can make this easy to put them in there. They're not organized in any particular fashion. You'll see Garfield, Dora. Again, as we add books, I'm doing hunts and going on these searches for stuff all the time, so trying to keep them all categorical would be near impossible. But let's go ahead and put them all together for right now. And boom, we got them all in there, including all the golden books. There is a mild organization done, so if we get golden books, of course, I'm gonna try to put them in the orders that we can. But as right now, in the phase we are in collecting, we are in the accumulation state, so we have to just have a place that's safe to keep them all. And then we're adding another set of Nick Jr. books along with a couple Garfield ones. We got the spring one here, and then we have all 13 of the amazing Nickelodeon Nick Zone books. We're gonna put all those in here as well. And that is not it. We did not count any of these books, and that is the coloring book / activity books. I don't know if we could have counted them, but nonetheless that we did not. So we're gonna add these in right here. So that way we have a little bit of room to grow this direction for the regular books, and then we can always move the coloring books further down. And then also all these activity books are kind of hard to organize, so we'll kind of just keep them all in there like that. And kind of ignore these. You're gonna see these very, very soon. They're pretty sick. But this is also some books that we haven't organized into the collection yet. You guys will see that later. So since the counting of all of these books, you've already gotten all of these ones. So I think that we will slowly inch our way towards 1,000 books, inevitably. But that is all the books that we have here, bringing it to 113 books without the French little kit books. If you count the French kit books, we're probably at 125, and I'm sure we missed a couple here and there, considering some are on display, probably somewhere around 130 even. I'm gonna go somewhere between 125 and 150, just because even if I look around my house, I probably could find a couple more books. But that's where we're at right now, and we are, like I said, a long way from 1,000 books, but I know that me and you can do it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took a long time, so make sure you guys smack the like button, subscribe if you're not already. But you guys know the drill. Scan it. Alright guys, so that is actually it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, if you could please smash the like button, I would greatly appreciate it. We spent a lot of time on this video, and so much time and so much energy trying to clean them all off just so we can do this thing right. So again, if you guys could smack the like button, subscribe if you guys are new here so you guys do not miss any of the new videos we got coming very, very soon as we continue to add to this collection. Make sure you guys are a part of it by subscribing, and also check out this video on your screen right here, which is the last epic video on this channel. I know you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the next video coming very, very soon, as we are now past 50,000 subscribers. I'm working on the video in celebration for it, so make sure you guys do not miss that video. Check out this one. I'll see you over there, and as always, Ret Pack, I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Adios. Bloop.